Well, your parents had five kids, and all of them were born like a year apart. So your mom was like pregnant for like 5 years straight.
She was, and she was a beautiful lady. I'm grateful for her. I didn't really have a father. I had a mom raise five of us. You know, my dad was an alcoholic. Came home for the last time when I was about 14 years old. Pulled out a shotgun, drunk again, said he was going to kill the whole family. So um, we had to experience a lot of that night after night of the craziness of my father coming into the house. And we made a decision that night that this would be it. That was the final night, you know, he would come in and act like that, because me and my brothers went into action. My brother Ronnie grabbed the butcher knife, I grabbed the frying pan. And it was just one of those things growing up like that, knowing that our father really wasn't a father figure. You know, he was a man that beat us and really made us feel like we were nothing. And we just got to that point on that last night. Had it not been for my mother getting me and my brothers out of the house, we would have killed him that night. And I always tell people it could have been a tragedy in my life before I ever put a baseball uniform on. And I always tell them, yeah, that my pain led me to my greatness, because your pain can lead you to your greatness. But your greatness would eventually lead you to your destructive behavior when you not well. Brokenness is real. And it just continues to bring a broken generation of people until someone gets healed on the inside. Healing has to take place on the inside. And for a very long time, I was never healed. I just experienced a life, you know, of being a young teenager growing up and feeling, you know, rejected and feeling empty on the inside, and really knowing that my mother was the queen of the Strawberry's family, that she raised five of us by herself. And she did a remarkable job, don't get me wrong. She did not raise me to live a heathen lifestyle. She raised me as a good kid with good principles, because you remember, I used to come in that house with my baseball cap on, and I thought I was so cool. And my mother would turn and look at me like, and I'd be like, what? She'd be looking at me, she'd be like, you better take that cap off your head before I knock it off your head in this house. So that I was raised right by my mother, but as I got older in life, you know, I decided, you know, I wanted to make my own decisions. And there's a price to pay for, you know, own decisions. I always say that, you know. Everybody always think because you make it to the top that you should be okay. That's not really the case. You know, the brokenness of a life is real, and so many young people experience that in their life, growing up in neighborhoods like I did. You know, just all across the country, you know, young African-American kids, they grow up with the struggle of not having two parents in the home. Some have to live with their grandparents. And it's unfortunate circumstances that it happens so much in our communities. And I was a part of it. I was no different. I think people look at you and think you're different because you made it to the top. Making it to the top doesn't make you different than anybody from those neighborhoods you grew up in. You just really eventually made a better decision for yourself to go in a different direction.
Well, yeah, you talked about this in your book. You know, you said your dad was an alcoholic. He would beat your mom on a regular basis. He would beat the kids. And then the showdown that you talked about, where your dad pulled out a shotgun, you know, you guys pulled out skillets and baseball bats and a butcher knife and a skillet and a frying pan. But then the police showed up. And the police basically told your dad he should go. And was that when he left and never came back?
Well, that was kind of the end of it for my mother, because I think she realized one thing, that he had put her kids and her boys, I'm talking about me and my two brothers, in a really bad situation, you know, that could have ended very poorly. And I think she realized that once you have involved the boys like that, she knew that you could no longer come back to the house, you know, because you put them in a situation where they responded. You know, we responded. You're talking about 14, 15, 16. You're talking about could have been life over, you know, because, you know, inside of us, you know, from the beatings and everything and who he was, an alcoholic, we just felt like we just didn't want to deal with this anymore. And it could have ended up in a bad situation all the way around for all of us.